This looks spooky.
Yeah, this is a strange neighborhood.
It looks abandoned. There's no windows.
Right off the bat, as I'm watching this, no additional context, I'm watching what you've just seen, a very creepy location. Please, everyone, if you're meeting someone for the first time, or any time for that matter, somewhere like this, you run away. You get back in your car, you get back on the bus, however you got here, you run. Doesn't matter how, you just leave. Whatever happened to meeting at a coffee shop? You know, a little bit of matcha, a little bit of pastry, everyone having a good time. In a public space as well. You won't be hacked to pieces sitting there with a bloody latte, will you? So, for the love of God, what happened to that? Nev also says the door is padlocked, which I guess adds to the creepiness of it all, which tells me something is being kept in, or someone is being kept out. Now, you keep your organs in and stay out of that house. Okay, you're already going to lose your heart to a catfish because shock horror. I mean, look at the show we're watching, right? So you don't need anything else to be taken from you. Organ harvesting, right? And I say this because this place reminds me of that creepy doctor, in quotations doctor anyway, from Heavy Rain. That might be a hella niche reference, but who remembers that guy? He was doing a madness to Madison. I wasn't having a good time playing that, and that's what this reminds me of. So stay out of that house, alright? Especially if you see some guy pretending to be all nice and stuff, but, you know, his face looks a bit creepy. You run.
This shit is crazy.
Indeed it is, Antwane. Indeed it bloody is. And it's gonna get a whole lot worse, my friend. Now, this episode was recommended to me by Untakozo. Apologies if I've mispronounced your name. I think it's fitting we check this out, because it took me like a gazillion years to even watch one episode of Catfish UK, considering how much social catfish stuff we do, and how much catfish stuff we bloody delve into. So now, we delve into, like, the granddaddy of them all or something. Catfish USA, bro. Guns blazing and everything. And that's not a USA joke, I tell you that much. I'm going to lose my head in this. And so are probably you. So strap yourselves in, because it's not a fun ride. You're here with H, but you're also here with Antwane and Tony.
Just two guys on a red sofa.
I picked this part out 40 seconds into the episode purely to say, at least it's not the casting couch. Eh?
You naughty, naughty.
Otherwise, this video would definitely not belong on this platform. And if you don't know what the casting couch is, you know, we'll just leave it like that. Protect your innocence. Nev also questions Max on whether he shaves with a mirror or not, because apparently he missed a spot, and... Oh, I actually have missed a spot there. Although some might argue, the problem is not missing a spot, the problem is the rest of the facial hair, you rat boy. But just calm down, alright? Also, Max is a hella handsome guy. Like, I just had to throw that in there, get it off my chest, right from the start. And I thought, like, oh, am I watching Love Island here or something? By the way, if you're new here, yes, I waffle a lot about random things, but, you know, there you go. So I apologize in advance. We cut to Carmen, Antwane's cousin, emailing the team about Antwane being catfished. I think it's relevant to add here that Carmen and Antwane live in Ohio, because it's always bloody Ohio, isn't it? She goes on to say that Antwane is in love with a man named Tony, and their bond is so strong. It's a special type of bond.
All I ever hear is how Tony is the cheese to his macaroni.
That's some good loving. Thick, sloppy. Oh, salivating, put it in my mouth. I don't even know if we're talking about mac and cheese at this point. However, this mac and cheese might be worth keeping in the oven a little bit longer, because Antwane and Tony's relationship doesn't seem to be fully cooked yet.
Plus, Antwane has never even seen a picture of Tony. The only time they talk is when Tony calls.
I can't emphasize enough that if after 3 years you haven't even seen a picture of your supposed partner, that mac and cheese will never be done, okay? Gordon Ramsay himself cannot fix this mac and cheese. Also, if a relationship is one-sided enough that phone calls are dictated by one person solely, that is not a relationship that you should want to be a part of anyway. It's giving booty call. You know, it's giving side piece, right? I'll call you when I want to. When the coast is clear, I'll give you a little ring. I don't want the main to be finding out about this. And it's funny because mac and cheese is considered a side dish. And this is giving side dish. But, baby, I don't want no side dish mac and cheese. I want the whole plate, the whole platter. Antwane, you have not got the whole platter here, man. And of course, as with most catfish stories, Tony hasn't even made the effort to come to Ohio to even see Antwane. This mac and cheese might be a little too hot for Tony to handle. He don't even want to step in the kitchen. Damn! It's blazing in there or something. Yeah, it made sense in my head. Okay, maybe I've rinsed the mac and cheese jokes. Maybe I've left it in the oven too long. But at this point now, I've done too much now, alright? I'm already in way too deep. I've seasoned the mac and cheese up to the heavens. I've got to keep rolling with it now. So I'm going to shoehorn mac and cheese jokes wherever I think they belong. So I'm warning you again. I apologize in advance.
He's a very lovable guy, but he's easily fooled.
He's a romantic.
He's never been in a real relationship, and he's in deep with Tony.
Being a romantic is one thing, and letting someone walk all over you and take advantage is another thing entirely. I understand he's never been in a real relationship, so to speak, so perhaps he doesn't recognize red flags as easily as other people because he's lacking that experience. But I feel like not seeing your supposed partner for 3 years, let alone a bloody picture, should be common sense, and you shouldn't really need much experience in relationships to figure that out, but, you know, we're at this stage already. Nev and Max end up calling Carmen, get things cracking with the case, and Carmen reveals how Antwane and Tony met.
Chat line, phone chat line. You can just call your local number. You can talk to anybody from anywhere.
Nev and Max in the episode actually make a similar point. That this reminds me of like Meet Hot Singles ads that you see on like adult websites, you know? And I don't know about that. I'm just speaking on behalf of a friend or something, you know? You know? I don't dip my spoon in that mac and cheese. No. That's too hot for me. I can't handle that. It's too seasoned. I don't know how common that sort of number is nowadays, but I assume people who call that number are, well, either they've exhausted all their options for meeting people in person, or are calling that number for some fun, you know. Carmen says they haven't video called, Tony doesn't really have social media, and Tony doesn't do computers. Now, if you're looking at that in the literal context, right, in the literal sense, it's relieving, mate, that you don't do computers.
This is great banter. It really is.
But as we can see here, Tony is obviously very secretive about his mac and cheese recipe. He ain't nowhere. You can't find him. Keep it hush-hush. In all seriousness, though, I do believe that some people genuinely just don't have social media. For one reason or another, maybe they're a very private individual. It's not uncommon to hear that someone doesn't use social media. But a relationship of 3 years and you haven't even video called, And maybe we can put aside video call. Maybe that's not your bag. Maybe your phone doesn't have a camera, right? But to meet up in person, no, for 3 years. That's wild to me. It's giving, do you really love me? No? Oh, it's the side piece we were talking about then. And I might retract the side piece comment, because this isn't even side piece, because you're not getting a side of anything here. This is like, you're just looking at the menu while standing outside the restaurant. That's what this is giving. We then cut to Nev and Max making the trip to Cincinnati to meet up with Carmen and Antwane.
Very important part of making this show. Neck pillows.
I agree. It is a very important piece of kit. I won't have any trouble not sleeping because this episode will haunt me for the rest of my life. They arrive at Carmen's house, do a bit of boxing because there's a boxing bag literally just hung up there. And Carmen says that Antwane is old-fashioned. He wouldn't even know how to go onto Google. Again, you know, that's all well and good. Some people genuinely just have no interest in technology, and it's probably for the best given how much of a cesspool of hatred the internet can be. But a relationship for 3 years, we're not even meeting up, we're not seeing any pictures of each other. It's just not good. If you use computers or not, this doesn't really sound like a relationship, and it genuinely sounds like you've made up a partner, you know? It's an imaginary partner. They end up calling this chat line just to get a sense of what's going on, and I'm intrigued because, you know, I'm just intrigued. What kind of number is this? I just need to know so I never dial it.
Really?
There are 96 men on the line.
Now I've finally figured out what this chat line actually reminds me of. If anyone has ever watched Ownage pranks back in the day, where he would use different voices and call this type of chat line, that I presume is the type of chat line where, you know, people are making their own mac and cheese whilst on the phone, having some fun, sharing recipes, right? I feel like it's that type of chat line. So going off of that assumption anyway, can you actually meet someone on here and build a genuine relationship? I thought it was, you know, you have your fun and then you hang up the line. You know, you get your jollies off and you go off into the night. For example, I wouldn't call Babe Station and pretend as if the woman on the screen talking to me, doing all sorts of nice whispering sweet nothings, I wouldn't think she's now my partner after that. Interestingly, Carmen leaves a voice message for one of the men on the chat line, but she's bloody changed her voice.
Like what I heard. If you're interested, get back to me.
Do you always change your voice?
Yeah, because I have a heavy voice. I want them to be attracted to me.
Open that oven door right now because that mac and cheese is smelling funky. I need to check what's going on. Her voice switch up was too quick, right? Like almost immediately, you might say. That's either a talent or very scarily you've just done that on the spot, which is concerning in both ways. When she says she wants people to be attracted to her, does she do this on a regular? That's you know, I'm asking that question here. The episode then cuts to Carmen revealing some creepy information.
From what I heard, Tony's been up here a couple of times and still hasn't seen Twan.
Hold up. So Tony's doing up stalker. Is he? Well, what's going on here? You're coming to my area and you're not actually meeting me. You're doing stalker. Like, what's the game plan here? I don't understand. Are you looking for a meet cute, right? You know those cheesy Hallmark movies and you're both in a grocery store. Your hands touch as you both reach for that box of Kraft mac and cheese. Oh my God, I'm gushing all over the place. Gosh, just, oh my God, untangle me. What is the game plan here? Oh, and before I move on, obviously, what is the game plan? But get a grip of yourself, Tony. We do end up meeting Antwane, of course, because what would this episode be if you don't meet the catfish victim? He's a very bubbly, fun, energetic character.
I'm fat and I'm proud of it. I'm comfortable with myself and my family love me. So I'm cool with that.
I appreciate the fact that Antwane acknowledges friends and family in this instance, because a lot of catfish victims do tend to disregard friends and family. You know, they don't seem to realize that they have good people around them and hyperfixate on this one individual. Everyone's circumstances are different, of course, and if you are lucky enough to have good people around you, you know, if there's anything to take from this little section, please cherish them and let them know you love them. Let them know that you're always there for them likewise, right? Just let them know life is short. If they deserve it, though, you'll be the judge of that.
Every time that I ask you about Tony, it's always, I'm a hater.
You is.
I think a lot of catfish victims do this, and a lot of people in general who are being called out for their behavior tend to call the other person who's calling them out a hater. It doesn't make someone a hater to be pointing out things to you. Maybe your behavior is nonsensical, maybe you're doing foolish things. It doesn't make them a hater. Au contraire, actually, they are doing this because they care for you. And I know it might not be what you want to hear, it's harsh truths, but you should be able to recognize, or at least take a step back and recognize, that what they're doing is in your best interests. If someone is commenting on things that are out of your control, for example, or just being mean for the sake of it, sure, they're a bloody hater. But wanting you to recognize that heavily investing all this time and emotion into someone that clearly doesn't want to meet up with you after 3 years, that's not hating. I know it's tough for some people to recognize that their own behavior is a detriment to their own selves, but that's where the beauty and the luck of having good people around you comes in. I do want to say that I hope everyone is open, or at least learns to be open, into receiving harsh truths or open to receiving criticism, because I truly believe that is the best way mentally to keep growing as an individual. Antwane goes on to say that he loves Tony. Tony obviously loves him. Tony's going to buy a house and take care of him.
Are you sure?
Tony actually called Antwane from a 513 number, which is the area code for Cincinnati. So, you know, my loins are tingling there. What do you mean? Is he in the area? No, we can definitely shut the oven door here because Tony apparently says he's from Atlanta. Hold on. You're here. The mac and cheese is over there. Are you a teleporter of some kind? Maybe Tony's a superhero. Oh, maybe that's why he's so secretive about everything, because you cannot know his true identity. It's like Batman, except with like mac and cheese. Mac and cheese man. What a horrible superhero that would be. I do think it could be as simple as Tony saying that he is originally from Atlanta, but Max's face on the screen here tells a bloody different story. Antwane does say that things then moved on to private numbers and that there was a number with 388, and that indeed he clarifies that only Tony can initiate the phone calls, and they usually happen once a day.
When he get, I guess because he said he was busy with his construction job, whatever. So I mean, I could believe it.
This stinks of romance scammer, does it not? Or is it just me? Oh yeah, it definitely stinks. Either you've made some pretty bad mac and cheese, or this is giving romance scammer. You know, I'm super busy with this construction engineer job, but I somehow have time every day to bloody call you. Actually, that would make sense. You know, you're not working 24 hours. Although some romance scammers would like you to believe, actually, that they are working non-stop. Idiots. So I do understand Tony's game here, right? I'll keep calling you every day just so that you know it's real somewhat. I exist, but not physically. Up here in your mind, that fantasy can keep running because the phone calls keep happening. I won't meet up with you though. I'm too busy for that, mate. Gosh, what do you think this is, a normal relationship?
Don't you think it's weird that you don't have a phone number to call him at?
I don't know. He work all the time, construction worker, so, you know, I don't know.
I hope everyone realizes that just because someone works, it doesn't mean they can't give you a phone number to contact them on. Unless it's a super secret construction job. Oh, then I can't compromise myself. Then Antwane reveals a bit of information that I believe, yes, truly means they are in a real relationship.
What's his last name?
I don't know his last name.
You don't know his last name?
Oh my God.
I hope the sarcasm was obvious there, because this is ridiculous. He really is a top secret spy or something, huh? Tony might not even be his real name. It's an acronym of some kind. Today? Oh, no. Yaramin? You know? In reference to, like, Antwane saying, can we meet today? Today? Oh, no. Yaramin? Tony?
Good job, little buddy.
And I know Yaramin is like Bay Area, California slang, but none of this makes sense, so you're just gonna have to forgive me again. Antwane confirms that it's just voices that he's heard, and no, not in his head, but you know, we're in a fantasy world, so who knows what's happening at this point. But no video calls, no pictures. He mentions something about an Obama phone, which is a low-income phone. So apparently you can't do nothing with them. I assume that means like those Nokia brick phones that, you know, have no camera and apparently can't receive pictures. I would have thought every phone could receive images. But alas, I don't know what Obama has to do with anything. So let me know in the comments, what's Obama got to do with anything? But I guess this would make sense in the context of Antwane not seeing Tony at all. I mean, even in pictures, but again, you can still talk to him. You would think someone who cares about you after 3 years would at least come and meet up with you. 3 years? No meet up? It's fishy, and we know that. What you got cooking up over there? Lobster mac and cheese? I figured it was a bit too long now of a gap between mac and cheese jokes, so I just had to throw one in there. Antwane reveals that Tony has left him a voicemail that we can hear, so here it is.
Just want to let you know that, you know, I do care for you. Do want to see you. Can't wait to meet you.
I care about you, but not enough to actually see you in bloody 3 years. And I do want to see you, but again, I won't make the time to. Typical gaslighting behavior, if you ask me. Words, they're saying one thing, but my actions are doing something completely different. Please everyone, recognize that sometimes words are just words. If their actions are not backing up their words, then they're just spewing a bunch of nonsense, and everything coming out their mouth just means diddly squat. I liken it to when someone apologizes for something, but continue to do the thing that they've apologized for. So you don't actually want to change to better yourself, and you don't actually mean your apology. You've just said it so that, you know, the conversation, maybe the argument, can get swept under the rug, and we can just move on as if everything's hunky-dory. If you apologize, mean it. It's manipulative, basically. It's done, in my opinion, to keep you strung along for the long run, right? You will still be there, hoping the other person changes, whilst in reality they are making very little effort to actually change. Antwane does reveal that he does ask to meet up every single time that they are on the phone together, but it's always work with Tony. It's just always work.
He don't say nothing else. It just be work. Work, 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 work.
Oh, okay, so Tony took inspiration from that one Rihanna song back in the day. Work, 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 work. See me, Antwane. No, you won't. Songwriter. I'm truly sorry, Rihanna. I believe people will make time for you. Okay, I understand work schedules can be hectic, but there's the weekend. No, if you truly loved someone, yeah, you might be tired from working all the time, but you would still make that time to meet them. Even if it is just for a couple hours on the weekend. Like, it's been 3 years, mate, alright? Unless your job actually makes you work weekends as well, and you never have time off. Which is a common occurrence in some catfish cases. You're just always working, you know, held hostage by your employer. But seriously, 3 years, no time off? Your job sounds like prison, mate. The mac and cheese is locked up. It's been bad.
You trust him more than you trust me?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
I said this in another video, but I find it fascinating that some people trust strangers more than their own family. Now, I looked online a bit, I was reading some Reddit posts and stuff, and people liken it to strangers being a safe space, and they are less judgmental, and there's less of a attachment there, so if you do share something with them, that stranger's not going to either judge you too much, or, you know, you're both gonna go your separate ways at the end of the day. But, you know, Tony's not really a stranger in this context, but it's just always fascinating to me. Let me know in the comments why you think people do that, because I find it very interesting. Nev and Max go off to do their research, we cut to a coffee shop, and Max makes an interesting point.
It has nothing to do with the internet. And it just goes to show you that people have been catfishing people since the dawn of civilization.
Now, when he said that, I immediately went to picturing Neanderthals catfishing each other. I don't know the logistics behind that. I assume there'll be a Neanderthal carving some sort of symbols in a rock, saying that they've got the best club in town, right? Come, look. We can hit mammoths on the head really good with this club, and then the person meets up with them, and they don't have the best club in the town. What the? It made more sense in my head. But Max is right. Catfishing has been a thing for way long times, even before the internet. Much like romance fraud, actually. I feel like that's been going on for ages as well, even before the internet. They do Google the 513 number and find out it's attached to someone by the name of Diana Thomas, and even find an address attached to that number. They then search for Diana Thomas, but find a different address for Diana Thomas. She does, however, have relatives listed, and one of those relatives goes by the name of Antwane Thomas. They search up Antwane and actually end up finding a mugshot. Max runs with the hypothesis
You're so smart. You're so effing smart.
that Antwane was calling from Cincinnati, but ended up in jail, obviously got arrested, the whole mugshot business, but continued to call with a private number, and that would check out. And that would be a good excuse as to why you can't meet. You know, I'm in bloody jail, mate. Although, if this was the case, surely that means Tony is hiding that he's a criminal from Antwane. And when you got out of jail, would you confess to Antwane? Or you're just going to keep that part about you a secret? Because I don't think that's good. They tried to call the number themselves, but unfortunately it's disconnected, which I guess proves that the number is no longer in service. They end up meeting back up with Carmen and Antwane to reveal everything that they've found so far. Antwane is obviously speechless about it all, as I probably would be. And Nev does stress, though, that none of this is certain. This is just what they've found so far. Now, something I want to draw everyone's attention to, just because I'm a cynical little rat boy, I want to draw your attention to Carmen's face when they're revealing all of this information. Now, here is one shot that I took, and here is the other screenshot that I took. I obviously could be reading into things very wrong, and I could be reaching here, Mr. Fantastic style, Reed Armstrong, right?
Who?
But this doesn't scream to me as someone who's concerned for their cousin. The second shot in particular screams of, oh, they're onto me type vibe. My brain immediately went to the Sweet Bobby catfish case, which, spoiler alert if you're unaware of that catfish case, the cousin of the victim actually ended up being the catfish themselves. So my mind just went there. Now, I'm not saying Carmen is the catfish, but I just wanted to point that out because I like to keep my 4 eyes open to everything that's going on. And I just found it a little bit fishy. They all head out the next day to visit the addresses that came up in their research. They visit a Vine Street address and ask for Tony, but I just wanted to pause and come here really quickly to say that this is a pet peeve of mine. When someone, for example, the social catfish team do this, when you call someone or you knock for someone and you don't say who you are, you don't say why you're looking for the other person, I just get very perturbed. And as I've mentioned, much like the social catfish team do it sometimes, Nev does it here.
Yeah. Hey, we're looking for Tony?
Got the wrong door.
Now granted, this could just well and truly not be Anthony, but I believe if you're not clarifying from the get-go who you are and why you're looking for someone, I believe that puts people on edge. Sometimes watching shows like this, people in the comment section like to say, oh, they're being suspicious. Yeah, but you not clarifying who you are, XYZ, that is also suspicious, in my opinion. And if it was me, you call me, knock on my door, you're asking for someone, but give no context, I'm also going to be a bit on edge and not give you all the information because I'm concerned for the other person's safety, perhaps. They next visit a Esmond address that came up for Diana Thomas, and as you can see on the screen, this sign says obviously don't trespass, and bloody Nev just decides I'm going to trespass anyway. I'm so against trespassing that I couldn't even say the word. But seriously, he just walks up to the door and that's crazy to me. A Diana does actually come to the door saying that she doesn't know of anyone named Anthony. However, on her father's side of the family, Thomas is actually their surname. They all head back into the car and Carmen brings up the fact that Diana could be hiding something. Antwane disagrees, and to be honest, again, I sound like a parrot, but if you're knocking on my door, you're not saying who you are, why you're looking for that particular person, I'm just gonna be reluctant to give information as well. We then pull up to the creepy house from the beginning of the video because apparently we're doing up horror nights once again. Stop it! I don't want to see any more of this house, okay? But Nev finds a letter that states the building was violating building code or something like that. I don't really understand it. But I guess it's why the whole place is boarded up and padlocked. And he also says that whoever was there, they missed them by a month. So, does that mean Tony ran away? He was violating building codes and obviously violating people's emotions at the same time. They're all heading back to the car and it seems everything's been exhausted. We're running out of leads here. But Carmen doesn't want to go back to the car. She's reluctant because Tony has actually revealed himself.
Twan, the reason why you stupid idiot can never find who Tony is because I'm Tony.
What? Why? Why?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Yes, Tony is Carmen. You know, Tony's revealed himself. It was Carmen all along. But can I just stress, what the hell has just happened here? Because we've gone from not wanting to go in the car to straight away, well, I'm Tony, by the way. There was no build-up. It just happened so quickly. Antwane rightfully is pissed off and Carmen explains her reasoning.
You should have never called me a fat-ass Kelly Price.
You mean to tell me that name-calling, childish name-calling, has resorted in the construction, since Tony's a bloody construction worker, in the construction of a 3-year catfish? Does that make sense to anyone? It can't just be me thinking that this is a waste of Antwane's time, obviously. I don't really care about Carmen at this particular moment, but it's a waste of her time, surely. And of course, it's a waste of the Catfish team's time as well. In and amongst all the F-bombs that Antwane is dropping right now, Carmen says this is life? What? This is life? What life is this, Carmen? Dare I say, you have no life because you've resorted to catfishing someone for many years because they called you a name. Now, I'm not saying Antwane was right for calling her a name. I don't know if they were just having banter or whatever at this moment, yeah? But surely you've got better things to do with your life. Imagine I catfished my brother for everything he said to me over the years. I'd be catfishing him for the rest of my life. Even when I'm put into the dirt, I'd still be catfishing him. I don't know the logistics behind that. I don't know, I'd have my phone down there or something. And the rate at which technology is advancing, yeah, there probably will come a time you can use your phone in the grave.
Don't talk to me ever no more, and I mean that shit.
It was the right thing to do.
No the it was not. The smugness in her face as well, you know, like my booty hole is enamored with flames because I'm getting heated. I can't say I'm surprised though. Do you know what I mean? Because I kind of had an inkling earlier on, and I don't want to say I was right. But I was right. You know, it actually sucks though, because I respected the fact that Antwane brought up, you know, the acknowledging of his friends and family way earlier on, but apparently it was for nothing. They made him look like a fool. But I'm glad I specified that not everyone's lucky to have good people around them, because look, as we've seen, right? Don't ever guilt trip someone into, hey, why do you speak like that about your family? They're your family. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And bloody look at what's going on behind closed doors in some people's cases. I'm not sure about you. I don't think Carmen is a good person, to be honest, because I can understand wanting to get your cousin back for the name calling, but for this amount of time you've run this game. No, that's too much for me. I'm thinking, couldn't you at least just called him a name back or something? Why did you have to do all this, you know? And I know some people might argue, no money was lost here. Yeah, but I believe time and all this emotion invested into this is worse than losing money. Okay, it depends how much money. But a lot of time is wasted, and people say time is money, so, yeah.
What did that just mean?
Paybacks. Paybacks.
For what? For what?
Paybacks. It's so funny. It's so funny to me.
You can literally see that there's no remorse in her face. Them eyes, they're telling no story, okay? The book is closed, or whatever the hell the saying is. She adds that he talks about her in front of everyone, so she was just waiting for the right time. I assume she means that he chats shit about her in front of other people, which, you know, cool, I get it. That's a shitty thing to do, especially if you are cousins. And I always say, banter only goes so far before it becomes disrespectful on like a serious level, but you don't follow up shit with shit, you know?
But point taken.
You flush that shit, and you be the bigger person. Although, it kind of feels like we're dealing with two children here. Again, I don't blame her for wanting to get back at her cousin, but there's a certain way you do things, and you don't bloody catfish someone for 3 years. Let's also not gloss over the disturbingly insane voice acting skills that Carmen has.
What voice are you using to talk to him?
The Tony voice.
She pretended to be Tony when calling Antwane, saying that they met on that chat line and Antwane gave out his number, which I have a question. In Antwane's case here, are you not remembering that you gave your number to someone? Or is it all a blur? When you're on those chat lines, things are a bit too steamy and you can't see through all the condensation. Max rightfully adds that they wasted everyone's time all for something that her cousin said 3 years ago.
It's lame. That's just lame.
That's not lame. Actually,
It's lame.
good.
It gets worse, and I get more heated, and not just for the fact that it's hot AF right now in the UK. My booty hole was enamored earlier on with flames. Right now, it's combusted in self. I feel like Charizard, alright? It gets worse because Carmen says that this isn't the first time she's done something like this.
I catfish every single person. I fake and act like other people, so
So you do that a lot?
I do that a lot, and I'm good at it.
Literally get a life. Get a grip of yourself. I genuinely think if she put this much effort, this much time into something productive, e.g. voice acting, which pains me to say that because I'm sort of giving her props here, but obviously that's a crazy skill to have that you can just do that on a whim, right? But if she invested that time into something like that, bloody hell, you'd be better off, surely.
Is this more about just sort of
Getting on the
attention
show?
for you than it was
No,
about...
because I could have been on any show.
Ooh, you're hard showing off.
Ooh, sorry, your highness. Oh, all the TV shows want me. Yeah, alright. I also love the fact that earlier on, she tried to accuse Diana, right? Do you remember? Oh, she could be hiding something. Yeah? What was the point of that? I assume, like, get off the scent from her? What? The mac and cheese smell, I guess. The next day, unfortunately, they head over to Antwane's, but he doesn't want to speak to them. So instead, they head over to Carmen's because I guess we need to hear more of her bullshit.
We should talk to her the way we would talk to her if the cameras weren't rolling.
Oh, my elf ears are perked now, okay, because I am someone who likes to lay things down all on the line, right? I like to dish out some truths. Some people will call me harsh for it, but I do truly believe that that is the best way to get through to people. You don't coddle them. So it's quite rare, actually, for a presenter to be saying something like this, so I'm on the edge of my seat. Before we head inside Carmen's home, though, I just wanted to put this screenshot on the screen right now. Now, obviously, I figured there would be multiple camera people when filming because, like, there's different angles and stuff. But that looks like there's too many. Like, that might be a bit too much. I can't imagine all of them standing there filming and watching me as I am saying things. Like, it's just like, my mind, I don't really know the point of this. I just found it interesting, I guess.
Didn't ask.
Anyway, the team want to know Carmen's story, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, at this point in the episode, my blood was literally boiling, because the amount that she was sort of putting herself on a pedestal, as if she'd done something mighty and noble.
Are you you're proud of it?
Yeah, I'm proud of myself, because I do a damn good job.
Nev tries explaining that she made people feel like shit, but look at her face here and tell me if that's someone who looks like they actually give a shit themselves. I honestly wanted to throw my laptop in the bin. Like, you genuinely don't understand how angry I was watching this. Have you guys ever tried explaining to someone that what they're doing is shitty, what they've done is shitty, and they're stood there with their thick skull, not giving a shit about anything you're saying, not showing any remorse, whilst you're there getting angrier and angrier. They're on the other side, just standing there smug and arrogant. It's like they are feeding off of the fact that you are getting angry. I hate that feeling. That feeling of they're getting the better of you, so to speak. They're like online trolls, basically. No matter what you say or do, they're just gonna rebuttal everything, right? And piss you off further because they're getting a kick out of it as well. Have you ever experienced trying to speak to someone like that?
Calm yourself, boy. You are acting hysterical.
She adds that you ain't shit, you're already shit, as a justification to making people feel like shit. What? Interestingly, a producer stops them, takes Nev and Max outside and say that they're sabotaging their show and that they need to listen to her side. Now, I don't know who exactly said it, but it was either Max or Nev that said she doesn't deserve the couch time, but the producer said just to hear her out. I gotta agree with the hosts here, because she's already given her side. Antwane said something. She decided the best thing to do was to catfish him, and she catfishes people quite regularly. Like, what else is there to hear from a smug, arrogant, insufferable adult child?
I know I'm a composer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. But the greatest liars work in the biggest companies.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Honestly, watching people, and shitty people, I need to stress, not take accountability and use these crazy, warped, twisted excuses as justification is like watching a science experiment unfold, right? You mean to tell me that is a reasonable excuse? Yeah, look at these other shitty people in whatever position they're in. They've done shitty things. Look how far they've gone. That means I'm also going to be a shitty person. Well done. Wow. What a way to live life. Also, you know, she says this as if she herself is like some head of a large corporation. Like, look, it worked out for me because it worked out for these. What are you, like, I don't know her employment status, but this obviously doesn't make any sense as a comparison. And to be honest, as much as I don't know what's her employment status, I can safely say she has too much time on her bloody hands.
And I think that's part of the reason why you wanted to come on the show, because you wanted to tell everyone and your friends that you're smarter than the world.
Bro, she's not even looking him in the eye when he's speaking to her. It's like a child. Literally, you're telling off a child, and this is what they're doing. Or a petulant teenager with their raging emotions. I'm not even gonna look at you as you try and educate me. I don't care. Honestly, I'm pissed off now, but I was so pissed off watching it. You don't realize, you know, my fingers were like this, doing the notes. I was making notes like this. I was giving myself pain in my fingers.
For my 5 minutes of fame.
Why?
When you approach somebody with the opportunity, they want to do anything.
Are you serious to me right now?
And on that note, I'm done with her, all right? Because well and truly, I might be getting a bit too heated, okay? My booty, well and truly, has made the chair catch on fire. Oh, the mac and cheese is smoking right now. We need to stop the cooking. Nev and Max end up taking Antwane out to try and cheer him up. They give him words of encouragement, some advice. And then 1 month later, for the first time ever, actually, which is surprising to me, but I guess given the fact of everything we've found out about Antwane, he doesn't really like this kind of thing. But Antwane jumps on a video call for the first time with Nev and Max. He mentions a janitorial job that he's going after, and the fact that him and Carmen, it's still obviously, and rightfully so in my opinion, it's on rocky terms, and that he doesn't ever think he will talk to her again. But he specifically says he's not going to rush into anything with her, and to be honest, he's a better person than me, because I bloody wouldn't even leave that door open. That door is closed, mate. You go after that janitorial job. I hope you get it, and I hope you get that mop and you wipe clean Carmen from your life. Antwane says romantically he's been speaking with a few people, but nothing off the chat line, which probably for the best, alright? Leave the chat line for when things get steamy at night time, alright? Bloody hell. I do hope he's learned the red flags though, because with all the craziness of the catfish revealed to be his cousin and whatnot, I kind of feel like the red flags, the bullshit that Tony was feeding to Antwane, I kind of feel like we didn't talk much about that outside of the beginning portion. So after the reveal, I feel like I really hope he's learnt what to do and what to look out for, because I mean, I do understand in and amongst all this craziness, it might have lost track, but I hope he's learnt. Basically, I hope he recognizes that someone who truly cares for you and wants to see you in the same way and the same level as you do them, they will make the time to see you. Now moving on to Carmen, unfortunately, but, you know, we have to, right? Since the incident, Carmen claims that she hasn't catfished anyone since this all happened, which I don't know what she wants. You know, you want a round of applause or something? You want a Blue Peter badge? Well done for not catfishing people. And that's just her claiming it, do you know what I mean? Who's got a Scooby as to if she actually stopped or not? Which, by the way, has just reminded me, earlier on when she was saying she wants people to be attracted to her when they were talking about the chat line stuff and her switching her voice, is that what she means? You know, she's catfishing people on the chat line for fun, I guess. It's just sad life, innit? Like, genuinely, you've got nothing better to do if that's the case. They unfortunately jump on a video call with her as well, and she says that she's been going to the gym 3 times a week. But I truly hope that she is getting professional mental health support as well, because the sheer audacity to catfish someone and seemingly think it's okay, the stubbornness, the lack of accountability, I think she's got a lot to work on internally. And I believe these issues of hers are not going to go away on their own, especially considering how stubborn she actually is. She also mentions that she gave up trying to speak to Antwane.
Things happen, and if he wants to talk to me, I guess evidently he don't.
I mean, I've sort of simmered down now, alright? The mac and cheese has stopped bubbling. But I'm sorry, she's saying this as if she didn't do what she did. She's saying it as if it's a mutual agreement. Things happen, you know? Like in a relationship when you've both outgrown each other, perhaps, and you both don't see yourselves going anywhere, and it's not really anyone's fault, it's just 2 people who've grown apart. You know, things happen. That's what she is saying this is like.
Who is she? Who is she? Who is she? Where did you find her?
Not that I catfished him for 3 years. Not that I've emotionally scarred him as well in the process. Not that I've literally blasted him on TV and made a fool of him. But yourself as well, let's be honest here. But him as well for 5 minutes of infamy. Yeah, but things happen. As we all experience in our lives. Sometimes we just end up catfishing our cousin for 3 years. Piss off. Thankfully, that was the end of it, and I didn't have to sit there watching some long, extensive call between them, doing up small talk and all that, because I couldn't bloody bear that, I tell you that much. Nev also adds in a, well, nice to meet you, Tony, sort of reiterating, we seemingly don't like you, Carmen. Allegedly, though, right? Because I can't speak for them. I tell you for free, though. Can I say it? I don't like Carmen. I think that's a given. Hopefully you've all enjoyed the shambolicness. How does my hair look? Yep, that's about right. Makes sense. Absolute brain hurts. And I didn't expect anything less when I read the title of this video on YouTube. When I saw that 3 years, I was like, bloody hell. What could go wrong here? Bloody hell, my forehead is shiny as shit, huh? What? Oh, goodness. Yes, I've sweated my ass off. Okay, I think that's a given. It's hot AF in the UK right now. The lights are on me. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed that, because towards the end of this, I did not enjoy it. And when I was watching the actual episode, I wasn't enjoying it anyway. You could argue I've not had the greatest of times right now. So make sure to stay hydrated, okay? When you eat too much mac and cheese, I don't know, the saltiness gets to you or something. You can tell I'm defeated, huh? I don't feel like Antwane, because he obviously feels much worse. I can't imagine family doing that to you, but it's not surprising, you know? And to be honest, families out there, man, I do feel for some people and what they have to go through. Please seek professional support if you are in a position where your family is mistreating you. Just because they're family, it doesn't mean they get to do whatever they want to you just in the name of, oh, we're blood. Who gives a shit, mate? You're treating me absolute bollocks. So seek professional support. I hope you guys have learned something from this. One, it's to not meet anyone outside boarded up, padlocked buildings. Two, be very wary of your supposed lover never meeting you in 3 years. Goodness, come on. You know, as much as we touched on all the craziness of this all, Antwane, you were foolish a lot of times, man. See you guys later. Let me know if there is any other episode you want me to cover, other than me losing my head and obviously my asshole twisting itself into a pretzel. I do enjoy making these, so let me know. Hope you enjoyed. Stay safe online, and apparently stay safe in person as well. There's nothing apparent about that. Please stay safe in person. Bye. I do crave mac and cheese now, though. Is that weird?